Hello everyone, I am Dr. D. Sherin, working as Assistant Professor in Government Engineering College, Tirunelveli. In today's video session, we are going to see about semiconductor diode laser. Lasers, these are the stuff of science fiction. They are very big, heavy boxes that make blast of light. If you have ever seen an ordinary laser in a laboratory, you will know it's quite a hefty beast, typically about as long as a forearm, fairly heavy, quite hot, and capable of producing a very intense beam of light. But if lasers are that much bigger, how come we can use them in small things such as portable CD players and handheld barcode scanners? The answer is that we don't. These things use a very different type of laser that's about the same size as an ordinary LED light. These are known as semiconductor lasers. These lasers or laser diodes are invented by a scientist called as Robert N. Hall, who worked in collaboration with Marshall Nathan at the IBM T.J. Watson Research Center. He prepared the semiconductor laser using the wafers of gallium arsenide as well as wafers of gallium aluminum arsenide. This is the perception of a semiconductor laser. Usually a laser possesses 100% reflecting mirror on one side and a partially reflecting mirror on the other side. Typically, these semiconductor lasers consist of alternating layers of N-type and P-type semiconductors, and this when a p-type semiconducting material is joined with the n-type semiconducting material, we will get a p-n junction region, and the holes are majority charge carriers in the case of p-type semiconductor, and the electrons are the majority charge carriers in the case of n-type semiconductor. Now we shall see about the types of semiconductor lasers. There are two types: homojunction semiconductor diode laser as well as heterojunction semiconductor diode laser. Now we shall visualize the principle of laser emission. When the p-n junction diode is forward biased, the electrons from the n region and holes from the p region cross the junction and recombine with each other. During the recombination process, the light radiation is emitted in the form of photons from a certain specified direct bandgap semiconductor like GaAs, and this light radiation is known as recombination radiation. The photon emitted during recombination stimulates other electrons and holes to recombine. As a result, stimulated emission takes place and the laser light is produced. This is the diagram for homojunction semiconductor diode laser. This consists of a single junction made from a single material of gallium arsenide. A p-type gallium arsenide material is joined together with the n-type GaAs material to form a single junction. The bias voltage is applied through the metal electrodes fixed at the top and bottom layers of the homojunction semiconductor laser diode, and the crystals, they are cut in the form of a platelet. The metal electrodes, they are connected to both the upper and the lower regions of the semiconductor diode, and the forward bias voltage is applied through this metal diodes. Forward bias means p-type material is joined with the positive of the battery and n-type material is joined with the negative of the battery. Now, the photon emission is stimulated in this very thin single layer of p-n junction. The end faces of the p-n junction is usually well polished and they are parallel to each other, and they act as optical resonator through which the emitted light comes out. The light to be emitted is called as laser, and this is to be achieved because of stimulated emission process by achieving population inversion. Let's see how this laser works. Let us study about the working of semiconductor diode laser, and we are going to apply here a strong forward bias. So when we forward bias the junction, the region around the junction contains a large number of electrons in the conduction band as well as the holes in the valence band. The electrons and the holes, they form as pairs, and they are going to recombine across the junction, and during this recombination the light photons are going to be produced. When the forward bias voltage is increased, more and more photons are going to be emitted, and these photons they will trigger a chain of stimulated recombinations, resulting in the emission of more light photons which are in phase always with each other. That is, an electron and a hole, they'll always recombine together to produce a photon of energy equal to h nu, and this photon is responsible for inducing another laser action. These photons, moving at the plane of the junction, travel back and forth by reflection between the two polished surfaces of the junction, and these light photons, they grow in strength. After gaining enough strength, the laser beam of wavelength, usually of 8400 angstrom, is going to be produced across the junction. This gives us the energy level diagram of this homojunction semiconductor diode laser. We can visualize the N-type material is going to be combined with the P-type material, and this is the junction. Across the junction, there is recombination of an electron with the hole in the valence band, and the laser light is emitted across the junction. Measuring the wavelength of laser emitter, we can measure what is the band gap of the laser diode. Next, we shall see about the heterojunction laser, semiconductor laser diode. A diode laser with a PN junction made up of different semiconductor materials in two regions, that is N-type as well as P-type, is known as heterojunction semiconductor laser. The example we are going to take here is GaAs as well as AlGaAs. That is gallium arsenide as well as aluminum gallium arsenide. They are going to be coated alternative to each other, and this type of semiconductor laser diode is otherwise called as heterojunction diode because there are going to be several junctions. Typically, this heterojunction semiconductor laser diode consists of 5 layers: GaAs of P-type. The next is P-type AlGaAs, and the third one is the active region. This is going to be GaAs, and the fourth one is the N-type AlGaAs, and the last one is the N-type GaAs, and this is otherwise called as substrate, and these two are called as metal contacts or metal electrodes through which the bias is given. When this PN junction diode is forward biased, the electrons from the N region, they will flow across the junction, and they will combine with the holes from the P region, and they will recombine with each other across the junction, and this is the portion across which the laser is going to be emitted because of the recombination process. Here also we can explain the working using the energy level diagram. When the PN junction is forward biased, the electrons and the holes are injected into the junction region. The region around the junction contains large number of electrons and in the conduction band and the holes in the valence band. Now some of the injected charge carriers recombine, they produce laser action across the junction. When the forward bias voltage is increased, more light photons are emitted and hence the light intensity is more. These light photons trigger a chain of stimulated recombinations resulting in the release of large number of photons which are in phase with each other. These photons moving at the plane of the junction travel back and forth by reflection between the two sides and grow in its strength. A coherent beam of laser having wavelength nearly 8000 angstrom emerges out from the junction region in the case of heterojunction laser. These two types of laser diodes, they will have some characteristics which are similar. They both are of solid state semiconductors laser. The active medium is usually gallium arsenide. Pumping method is the same for both of them, that is direct conversion method. Power output in the case of heterojunction laser it is 1 milliwatt, and in the case of uh, homojunction laser it is also in the order of milliwatt, but it's a few order. The nature of output is usually continuous wave or a pulsed output wave. And there are some merits as well as demerits for the semiconductor laser diodes. Semiconductor lasers, they fuel many advantages, that is their long life, stark single color, adjustable, and an endless beam of light add to the device's economical and user-friendly nature. Semiconductor lasers also produce a low power despite their longevity and brightness. This is still a downside to the device. Other lasers have more control over the light beams in comparison to the semiconductor laser. This is also viewed as an operational flaw because the device divergence is less controllable. This is one of the demerit of semiconductor diode laser. I thank you everyone for listening this video.